All right. I hope everyone's having a wonderful night. Hello and welcome. My name is Jacqueline Bolus. I'm a faculty support and classroom consultant with the CETL, and I am your host for today's CETL session. I am very excited for this presentation as it gives an opportunity to serve our students in unique and personalized ways, but also to kick off 2020 by reconnecting with faculty support resources. Please allow me to introduce some key individuals that will be presenting today. We have Morgan Johnson, Associate Vice President of the CETL, Dr. Teresa Couric, Director of Faculty Support and Development, Dr. Brian Aylward, Associate Director of Academic Operations, Cole McFerrin, CETL Manager for Faculty Support and Development, Haley Pessner, CETL Manager for Faculty Support and Development, and Kate Johnson, who is also a CETL Manager for Faculty Support and Development. She's unable to be with us tonight, but she also helped put this together. I just want to remind everyone to feel free to post questions throughout the session, and I'll grab those and we'll answer all those questions at the very end. I hope you enjoy the presentation.
Thank you so much, Jackie, for such a wonderful introduction. As Jackie mentioned, this is our first CETL session of 2020, and we're really excited actually because it's the third year that we've had an opportunity to kick CETL sessions off. So Cole is actually going to speak here shortly about the plan for CETL sessions this year, but really high level, I'm excited to welcome all of our department leaders today to talk a little bit about what's going on in CETL. 2020 is definitely going to be a busy but exciting year. I think as all of you probably are familiar with the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, really our number one goal is to advocate and champion our teaching and learning mission at the institution. So I think what you'll hear from all of us today is work and priorities related to that number one goal that we've had for really the last 6 years since we've become a CETL. So we have folks here, as Jackie mentioned, from both our academic operations team and our faculty support and development team. Thanks, Teresa. And so each of those groups are going to be providing updates, but I also want to mention we have many members of our full-time faculty and college leadership on the line today, and we're constantly collaborating and partnering with them in all of the work that we're going to be discussing. So throughout the session, please feel free to post questions and comments in the chat, and we'll all be active in there. But first, I just want to hand things over to Dr. Brian Aylward, who's going to give some updates about academic operations.
Perfect. Thank you, Morgan. Can you guys hear me? All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Brian. I am the Associate Director over Academic Operations. We've got a lot of exciting things going on in our department, especially as we're kind of looking ahead into 2020. We could start off here with our faculty compliance and payroll department. We've got a few things that have kind of happened here since January. One of the biggest adjustments is related to transition of 5 additional states from an exempt status to a non-exempt state. That kind of impacts a bit of the workload for faculty in those states with regards to submission of time cards and kind of how we're tracking the workload. If you're impacted with that and residing in one of those 5 states listed there with New York, Iowa, the DC area, Hawaii, or Connecticut, you should have received an email from me kind of outlining some of the additional things there. Another exciting thing within that department is we're currently working on creating a new faculty pay document resource. The goal is to have a kind of one-stop shop for particularly associate faculty members to kind of seek out guidance with as it relates to payroll and contracts and kind of our pay structure, just a lot of basic information that would be helpful for our associate faculty members. We hope to have that. The goal is next month, and you should receive communication with that kind of as we're kind of moving forward with that that document and resource for you guys. So, moving on from there to our faculty systems, academic systems, and data team. We've got some really exciting news there as we're looking to transition now into a new faculty portal. It's known as APL NextED. We've been calling it APL for short. Currently working on creating an implementation timeline and schedule with kind of migrating a number of our current systems over to that to kind of provide a one-stop shop for our faculty members with regards to, like right now we have digital measures. That's going to be going away and kind of incorporating that information into there, having our faculty files and documents all sourced in one resource, which will make things a lot easier for not only faculty members, but also our internal staff that are supporting the faculty. So that kind of transitions into the next piece there with our sunset of digital measures. I know you guys are all familiar with the digital measures resource and kind of updating it with work that you're doing, certificates and things like that. That is going to be going away. We're going to be sunsetting our digital measures piece. It's effective on January 31st there. Our academic systems team, our data team has already gone in and exported all that information to kind of make it a seamless transition over to APL as we're looking to migrate all that information into the new system. Makes it a little bit easier for you guys. There's nothing you need to do at this point. Anything that's there, we've got it stored and kind of ready to move over once we're able to get the new faculty portal system kind of up and ready for faculty to begin using. So moving on from there, the last update I have is related to our faculty scheduling team. As you mentioned, with the faculty support community and kind of really creating a support team that can work collectively to kind of provide faculty the best resources possible and the best support possible, we've realigned some of our scheduling teams to align with the new departments with the organizational restructure that occurred. You can see there with the College of Arts and Sciences, we've got Monica and Tom and Heather and Emily, each respectively working within those departments there. With the Forbes School of Business and Technology, again, Emily, Tom, and Scott Hunter will be taking over each of those departments with technology studies, professional studies, and organizational studies. Very exciting time. I know you guys have all built relationships with your faculty schedulers over the last few years and kind of worked through things there. I know change is not always easy, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm definitely excited as we're kind of moving into, and you'll hear a lot more about it from Teresa and her team here shortly, really creating a support group focused on helping our faculty as much as possible. So from there, I will pass it over to Teresa to kind of take it from there.
Thank you, Brian. Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you. My name is Teresa Keurig, and I'm the Director of Faculty Support and Development. Brian's updates about the faculty scheduling team is a perfect segue into some strategic reworking that faculty support and development has been doing in our side of the CETL. The university strategic restructuring really gave us a chance to pause and reflect on the mission that we have to help make the faculty experience the best that it can be, which in turn affects the student experience positively. And to that end, the faculty support and development team developed this refined mission statement that I wanted to share with you today. I've highlighted some key terms that I think really bring to the forefront our goal in our relationships with you every day. We want to partner with you, provide just-in-time support, establish collaborative relationships, all that in turn will allow us to create the most beneficial professional development opportunities for you, to support efficiencies both in the institution and in the classroom, and to promote an overall successful classroom experience. And the only way we can do that successfully is to gather and process your feedback, which all of these updates, both in operations and in the support and development departments, are based on. Two bits of faculty feedback that were really important to us over the past few months is that we hear from you that sometimes it's really challenging to know who your FSDA is. This is a completely understandable bit of feedback because we know that often you have overlapping courses. And since our FSDAs historically have been partnered to support you on a course-by-course basis, you might be working with two different people at the same time. It's difficult to keep track of that. Likewise, we've heard that sometimes you're unsure about where to direct your questions or share ideas, whether it be about payroll, contracts, scheduling, something to do with the curriculum, an issue with students, and what have you. So the following update is meant to address these concerns that we've heard from you. We are excited to announce a refined faculty support and development set of roles, a new model that we hope will solidify the personalized individual relationships that our team has with you and allow us to be a better bridge between you and the institution. As I mentioned before, historically, our support team was partnered to support you in individual courses on a course-by-course basis, which means you might work with multiple different people at once. The primary objective of this new model is to pair you with faculty support personnel on a regular basis, rather than on an assigned course-by-course basis. This means that in the coming year, you will become accustomed to seeing the same faculty support person working with you in all of your courses. These folks are also aligned by college and program, much like Brian explained, the faculty scheduling team has been aligned, and much like your college leadership is aligned, so that we effectively will give you a true faculty support community. You consistently will know where you can go for classroom support, where you can go for scheduling support, and where you can go for curriculum support or content-related support without fail. Another part of our refinement is elevating the former FSDA role into two new roles: the faculty support and classroom consultant. You guys probably heard Jackie introduce herself as that at the beginning of this presentation and maybe thought, whoa, what is this? Essentially, our mission is the same, to support you, but the faculty support and classroom consultant will be your regular touch point for all your general classroom topics, learning tech, policy questions, course requirements, institutional stakeholders that you might need to get in touch with, anything that has to do with the general classroom experience. You can rely on your classroom consultant to help you with. On the other hand, we have refined a role, the faculty development and coaching specialist. Also, we welcome to the faculty support and development team a learning design specialist, who many of you might have encountered in different capacities before. In the past, she worked primarily with faculty engagement. But both of these roles are focused on leading the effort to create new faculty development and engagement opportunities that both connect you to our institution, to your students, and to the specific content areas that you teach in. So we are excited for these developments, again, because they will give you a closer, more regular connection to support personnel at our institution, but also because they open up time and space for our team to dive into giving you the best continuing education opportunities that we can. I've listed some benefits of this new model. Again, consistency, since you'll be working with the same classroom consultant in all your courses, you will have a chance to develop a close relationship and have personalized, reliable support. They will have a chance to become accustomed to the courses that you teach. It offers them an ability to have a deeper knowledge of unique curricular, policy-related classroom needs. The program alignment across the board, from the support team and the scheduling team directly to your college leadership, will allow more direct collaboration on our end, which will allow all of us to support you more productively. And then finally, as I mentioned before, we aim to use this new model to improve the the professional development opportunities that we offer you, so that they're more targeted and effective. I will share briefly the new organization of our team. As you all are familiar, we have 3 faculty and support development managers. I'm sure you've all worked with them in some capacity in the past. Cole McFerrin is a faculty support and development manager whose team, listed below, is going to be the primary touch point for classroom experience or classroom technology. Haley Pessner's team is going to be handling the team's work with faculty events and communication strategy. And Kate Johnson, who unfortunately can't be with us this evening, I'm sure you all remember from her role as a manager of faculty engagement, has joined the larger faculty support and development team as the manager of faculty training and engagement. With that, I'm excited to pass the baton over to Cole McFerrin, who's going to share some exciting classroom experience and classroom technology updates.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Teresa. So already this year, right when we came back from break, we had a gradebook update, which was a sizable one. And so I thank you all for rolling with the punches. And I actually just finished my own class using the new one. I actually had a class that went along with the break. And I just put my final grades in, and I loved the process. There were already just a lot of things, a lot of quick wins with that gradebook update, in my opinion. The ability to filter by week, to be able to just kind of look at a handful of assignments instead of the whole class at a time, and then entering final grades, the context cards that came along with that, where you can click on a student's name in the gradebook and see their last login date, or you can send them a message from there. That was another really big win from the Canvas side. And then one of the not quickest wins, because there was a lot of development went into this on our side, but we were able to get that waypoint shortcut on the left navigation return, kind of like we used to have in eCollege. So you can have a one, regardless of what week you're going into grade, you can have a quicker way to get to waypoint without having to click through the classroom to get there. That was maybe my favorite part of coming back to my class after break, was that button. Even though it's probably only saved me 10 clicks since then, I really appreciate it. And I know every click counts with as many times as we're in grading assignments. And I know that faculty really appreciate that. But that actually leads me to, some some really exciting things that are coming our way this year. I'm actually out in San Diego this week because we are doing some planning for the Canvas Phase 4 roadmap. And maybe some of you aren't as familiar with the Canvas phase name. We've been doing it ever since we transitioned over to Canvas. We had Phase 1, it was lift and shift. But then every subsequent year since then, we've gotten together and we've tried to be very strategic as a group. In making sure that we're improving the classroom, we're continuing to improve it for the faculty and the student experience. So thank you all for providing the feedback that you did. We sent out a survey at the end of the year last year, asking you all about your experience. And we were really able to take away some very tangible and fantastic suggestions that you all had for improving the classroom. So we're going to be able to come to those conversations this week and really be able to advocate for what faculty want. And we'll be able to share out some more details here very soon about some of the other results that we saw. But otherwise, I mean, it sounds like people really enjoy the classroom. There are little things. But, so one of the other things that I did want to, kind of talk about today, which is a nice transition from this, talking about the LMS survey, is CETL sessions are going to look a little bit different this year. We kind of had this opportunity at the beginning of the year to kind of revamp the CETL session. It's been a kind of a touchstone for us for quite a while. When I was approached with potentially taking over the series, and it was just a couple of days after I was looking at this Canvas LMS survey data, where we actually asked faculty, we said, hey, what do you want to learn about? What do you want more training on? And I had this big list in front of me and then a blank list of CETL sessions. And I was like, I think that we can make something happen here. So we're in the preliminary stages of planning, but for the rest of the year, we're actually going to kind of be rebranding CETL sessions. It's not the working title. I'm going with Classroom Management Mastery Series, where we're going to go in each month, and we're going to go into kind of the two main sides of what we want to touch on is using the tools that are in your classroom to be efficient. And maybe using them in ways that you hadn't realized you could before, but then also what to do with them. For example, we'll talk about like a tool in the grade book about message students who it's like, here's this tool, but here's also how to use it. So we're going to be kind of partnering the technical and some of the pedagogical things in these sessions throughout the year, and featuring different faculty members and different support groups. But we heard from faculty in this survey that they specifically really want some in-depth things on using the gradebook or SpeedGrader or Waypoint. And then the other thing that we kind of realized when we were looking through the open-ended comments is we would see things where we would say, oh, there is actually a way to do that. So there are even some things that we know that faculty are taking advantage of now that we really want to be able to make sure that you know how to use. So stay tuned for more details about the Classroom Management Mastery Series. For this first month in February, I believe we're going to be diving in specifically to faculty said that they wanted a refresh on Inspire for Faculty, which is a fantastic tool we have to track student engagement and do some student outreach in a very efficient way. But we'll also expand on that and talk about some other ways that, in the classroom that we can be proactive in supporting our students. So more to come. I'm really, really excited that we're going to be able to, offer some in-depth training on some of these classroom things and really focus on it this year. So I'm excited for those conversations.
Hey, Cole, can we pause maybe for a minute? Because I think there's been a couple questions in the chat that we have an opportunity to talk about. One of the questions that a lot of you want to know about is the late indicator in the grade book. So this naturally started occurring when waypoint feedback became visible to students directly through Canvas. Cole, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is, it was the number one thing that faculty commented on was that late. So the interesting thing is that when we first turned on the waypoint one-click feedback, nothing has actually changed because it actually appeared late way back when we first switched that on. When we did the gradebook enhancement, the coloring on that late indicator changed just a little bit. So students are really noticing more that those assignments are being counted, quote unquote, late in the gradebook. So two exciting things about that. Number one, it was the top, commented on thing about faculty. So we can go to the table, this week and say, hey, can we make this number one? Like this is probably top priority for faculty. But then number two, there is actually a way where right now, with the way the new gradebook is set up, you can go in, you can click on an assignment and where it says late, you can actually say excuse to where it unflags that. Now, we obviously don't want our faculty to have to go through and unflag, every single assignment. It'll work for right now, but exactly, we are hoping, we are glad that we can come this week. And for example, there was other things about like waypoint or like general navigation where there were very, very specific pieces of feedback that faculty provided that are just fantastic that we're going to be able to bring to the table for that this week. So I'm really excited to be able to prioritize that and have that voice be heard.
And, in addition to what Cole's sharing, I just want to share that we, the group that we'll meet with this week to talk about 2020 classroom enhancements does include a waypoint specific roadmap. So, we'll be able to look at some of the enhancements and prioritize those. And the late piece definitely, as Cole mentioned, will be high in that list. And there's a few others, Cole, if you maybe want to share a little bit about that we know work has already began on.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, there's constant things, just kind of changes that are rolling through, that we're reacting to. So for example, Portfolium is something that we're using in some classes, and they're kind of changing their format and the way that they're branded. It's going to be switching to a name of Folio. So we're kind of going through a rebranding with some of that we have to, roll with the punches on. But another one that was high on the list for sure was Turnitin Automation. So I think that we're really going to be able to go to bat and say, hey, this is also a top, want for faculty. And then really like the feedback that you all provided on Waypoint. I mean, I know, personally from being a user, it's like, okay, there are things that it does very, very well, but there are some things that are frustrating about it. But you all were able to iterate those in such a way where we can go to that development team and say, hey, the rubric gets locked on the side if you do this a certain way, like we need to fix that, or the cursor goes away. Little things like that to where you were very specific. That's really going to help inform that roadmap.
Yeah, and really quickly, just want to share related to kind of the late flagging in the grade book is we've heard from faculty, but more so students throughout the years that the task list on your homepage doesn't necessarily match up with waypoint specific assignments. So just want to share that that's also an item that's being worked on so that when students submit and completed assignment, that's essentially getting crossed off their task list for the week based on that submission. So they're all really interrelated. And I think somebody in the chat had mentioned that, is it true really that Canvas and Waypoint don't talk? They are separate systems. So just like any third-party integration with the classroom, we're constantly working to make sure it's as seamless as an experience as possible. But naturally, we've hit some challenges. A couple other questions I think that have come up from folks in the chat is, how do I see when there's a student's essentially been flagged for a late assignment? That will show up color-coded in your gradebook view. So if you just go to the general view of your gradebook, you'll be able to see if a student has what's marked as like a red or like a light pink, I guess, coal with some of the recent changes. That's essentially flagging a student for a late assignment.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any other questions right now about classroom management or the LMS?
Well, I'm seeing a couple here, like in the chat, like about the color coding in the gradebook. Like, yep, we're going to do an in-depth, training on the gradebook and go into some of those very specific things. That's kind of what we really want to do with these sessions. And also, so for example, we'll kind of keep an eye out, or I'll have you keep an eye out for Canvas banners specifically. That's been a really nice way to get word out. We knew with the gradebook updates, we wanted to keep, that front and center for you all. And then when SpeedGrader, when we knew that access point had changed, we wanted to get word out to you. So we did a banner about that. I think what we would like to do, because we have been getting more and more influx about that late issue. So we can do a Canvas banner for students as well to, kind of let them know. I would love to maybe after this week be like, hey, we know it's going to be fixed. I would love to give them a date, but yeah, I think that a Canvas banner, I think that we can definitely get word out to students and faculty about that a little bit better. Yeah, that was kind of an unforeseen thing with that gradebook update that snuck up on us a little bit, but we can do some follow-up on that, absolutely.
Okay, great. Well, of course, we'll have plenty of time after our presentation to discuss more questions on this topic. But for now, let's move on to Haley Pestner, who's a Faculty Support and Development Manager. She's going to share a little bit about CETL communication strategy.
Thanks so much, Teresa. I appreciate that. So it's 2020, and with the goal that Morgan mentioned at the beginning of our CETL session this afternoon of championing our CETL mission, we recognize really that the importance of the relationship and collaboration with our faculty is best served by a comprehensive communication strategy. And so a great place to start in creating that strategy is looking at what our key objectives are. And so you can see those before you on the screen, but the CETL will work to ensure that faculty are well informed with accurate current information. We will strive to create community by establishing trust and seeking input. More to come on this in Q3, but we will be looking to develop an efficient, consistent communication approach with a communication tool to best serve our students, who in turn are served by faculty that are well informed, and define those resources that are appropriate to deliver that messaging. As always, we look forward to feedback and suggestions and ideas from our faculty about what you feel works well as far as the communications that you receive from the CETL. Tell us what is not working well for you. All of that feedback is very helpful to us as we look to define this strategy. So you can always reach out to me, and you can also email cetl@ashford.edu with your feedback. So some of the items that will be coming forward in 2020 with the communications piece from the CETL, we will be continuing the quarterly AU Chronicle. We encourage faculty contributions. The deadline for the first quarter 2020 edition submissions is this Friday, June 31st, and I will put this information in the chat as well. But again, the Chronicle is a faculty-focused publication. So if you were doing research in your field, you have some best practices that you want to share about different strategies you're using in your classroom, maybe some Canvas tips. I can see even in the chat with Cole's last slide that faculty were making suggestions to one another in reference to the gradebook. So we want to hear about all of those items, and I will put this email in the chat as well, but it is the Ashford Chronicle at ashford.edu. So all great content that we could capture within the Chronicle. Again, that deadline is this Friday, January 31st for just the Q1 edition. And then we will be updating the CETL website, so please stay tuned for this. It's right around the corner, but at the end of Q1, so soon you will see that website with a facelift, and we are looking for a streamlined system for faculty news and updates. Again, I mentioned this earlier, towards Q3. So lots of really exciting things, and I look forward to hearing your feedback.
Thank you so much, Haley. I, for one, am particularly excited to hear about the streamlined system for faculty news and updates. I know one of the other big bits of feedback we get from you guys a lot is that your inboxes are just inundated with material. And so we aim to do our best to make that as focused for you as possible so that you can keep track of all of the great information that we provide for you. Since Kate unfortunately is not able to be with us this afternoon, I'm going to share a few of her updates about faculty training and engagement. Over the past few years, Kate has spearheaded the effort to have regional faculty meetups to give everyone a chance to network, get to know each other in person, get to meet face-to-face some cohorts at Ashford. And we're happy to announce upcoming events in February and March. So on Friday, February 28th in Orlando will be a regional faculty meetup. Please stay tuned for details about that if that's in your area. And also we're planning a Philadelphia area meetup for March of 2020. Details to be determined. Again, keep your eye out for information about that to come. We'll be looking forward to seeing you there. Likewise, we're looking forward to a enhanced, elevated version of our co-curricular events that align with the strategic restructuring of the institution, namely the institution of quarterly discipline-specific colloquia. Your college leadership will be leading the charge with these colloquia that will be specific to content areas that you teach, connecting them to classroom best practices. The first colloquia, one for each college, one for FSBT and one for College of Arts and Sciences, will be planned for later in this quarter for March. And there will be one for each college per quarter thereafter for the rest of the year. So we're very excited to facilitate these for you. Also coming up in April is the second research symposium that we've had after last year's very successful one. The research symposium features the works in progress or recently completed works of our graduate student population, folks who are working on their dissertations or are in their capstone or practicum courses. So keep an eye out for information about that. And then finally, of course, we're very excited to announce that the Ashford Teaching and Learning Conference will be held on from November 3rd through the 5th, our annual virtual conference. Keep an eye on the Ashford TLC website for more information forthcoming about presentation proposals and the conference theme. Finally, we wanted to share a professional development spotlight with you all. You're probably all very familiar at this point with the Instructor Presence Certificate, which has been very successful for faculty in the institution alike. This series was designed in conjunction with College of Arts and Sciences faculty. It consists of 6 modules, which faculty can complete separately at their own pace. If faculty complete all of the modules and required assessments successfully, they have the option to obtain a digital badge via the Badger platform, which they in turn can post on their resumes, on LinkedIn, and things of that nature. We are also pleased to share that this Instructor Presence Certificate won the Online Learning Consortium's 2019 Effective Practice Award. And so we really encourage everyone to take advantage of this award-winning, very clearly well thought out and productive professional development opportunity. And this is just a taste of what's to come from the CETL as we work with the colleges to, again, develop some more targeted, discipline-specific opportunities to help faculty feel more engaged with the institution and to grow. I will go ahead and advance to this next slide just to remind you all of key contact information if you have any questions or feedback for us. But at this time, we're all very happy to answer questions that you have from the chat. So please feel free to keep adding more.
Teresa, we have a question in the chat from Debbie Carpenter about the certificate, the present certificate. Is this opportunity on the CETL professional development page? Would love to recommend this more strongly.
Yes, definitely, Debbie. This professional development opportunity, the Instructor Presence series, is housed in Canvas. So I'm going to have to get back to you on the accessibility via the CETL page, or I will turn to Morgan if she might know more there. But definitely it is available in Canvas for faculty to enroll.
Yep. And if folks want to reach out, honestly, to CETL at ashford.edu, we do enroll faculty in that module series, basically in a weekly cadence. So just reach out and make the request, and then we can get you on that list.
And again, if you have any questions about professional development, especially things like this in which you would want to enroll, we encourage you as always to reach out to your faculty support contact, who will always be able to point you in the right direction.
I just want to reiterate, because there was so many questions regarding the grade book and the colors and so many things like that. And Cole did mention that he's definitely going to go over everything more in depth in the session about the grade book. So I just want to reiterate that to everyone in the chat that might have missed that. He actually even put a link for more details in there, and I can repost this right now because that was something that came up often.
Great, thanks so much, Jackie. Yeah, lots of great questions, honestly, from everyone tonight on classroom components. I think that just further supports our need for the mastery program that Cole and the team are putting together for this year. So just as a save the date, you know, our next session that Cole mentioned, that will be really focused on engaging, you know, at-risk students either through Civitas or other classroom tools, will take place that last week of February. So more details to come, but you know, we'll get a schedule of those out soon, so you can see what topics will be covered, and then also provide feedback on if there are additional topics that we don't have scheduled for this year. And then I did see also a question about TLC call for proposals from Ryan. So the plan right now is to get really a call out by no later than April, because we do like to have essentially all of those submissions in and reviewed mid-summer, so we can get a schedule published. So more details soon about that, but that's the plan for right now. I think there was one more question about the instructor presence module as well. So for folks that want to be enrolled in the certificate program for the instructor presence series, if you reach out to CETL@ashford.edu, we can get you enrolled in that. And I know there's been a couple links shared in the chat, so you can see more information about it.